Okay, now that you've got your data set up, let's talk about your sample. Now, all of you have a sample, and even if it's not really a sample, if you actually just have the population, Katie, I know that's you, that's okay. You always talk about it as a sample. All right, so here are the major components. You want to make sure that we know one thing most assuredly, how you got from your data to your analytical sample, the people or the units that you're analyzing. So that means you have to be very clear on the number of observations, and you should spell number correctly. And so that starts out with, this is the number of cases I have and how you got there. So if you're excluding cases, this is where you talk about that. I am only looking at Latinx individuals. I'm only looking at Chinese individuals. I'm only looking at these cities or these counties. State that and then tell us how many units or how many observations are left over. And you can also do that with n equals and then put in your sample size. This is also a great place to justify the exclusions, but you absolutely have to to describe them. In addition, you may think about excluding them on the basis of them being missing. And several of you talk about how several of your variables are missing on various cases, and so you just want to kick them out. That's fine. That's called list-wise deletion, where your case base, your sample is only cases that you have full information. For this class, that's totally fine. Later classes, you're going to talk about how to include missing cases because there are various issues that get raised in terms of sample bias when you just start kicking folks out. But make sure you do one thing. You describe that and you say, hey, I am only looking at cases that have valid information, where there are I'm only looking at non-missing cases. List-wise deletion gives you only non-missing cases in your sample. And so if this is your rationale for exclusion, that's great. Just make sure you state it. Last but not least, make sure you clarify, and don't worry about overemphasizing this, the units of analysis or observations. I have 223 cities in my data set. I excluded this many have non-missing cases, and this is where I'm left with. This is the number of cities I'm left with. Okay, thank you.